let's talk about it. Budds Creek 250 National Championship is wrapped up. We are going to get into who had a good day, who had a bad day, presented by Yoshimura, and we are going to get straight into it. Budds Creek was the finale of the AMA Pro Motocross National Championship. It normally ends in Ironman, but obviously because of MX of Nations, they had to move that and transition that. The winner, obviously, Haiden Deegan, had himself a damn good day, which I thought was absolutely an impressive ride. He needed to come into the last round going into SMX, going into MX of Nations. He needed to get a little bit more momentum on his side because he's been playing it safe. Whether that's the right move, the wrong move, doesn't really matter. That is what he has been doing the last few rounds. I don't really think he's been pushing to his fullest extent because he was in championship mode. So Haiden Deegan going out there getting a 2-1, and he really should have went 1-1. But him getting that penalty, and Joe, that penalty, it was kind of dumb. I want to say that there was like 10 people that did it. I don't really understand it completely, but it is what it is. And the AMA hands out their penalties, how they do it. I don't really get it. I don't really understand it, but it is what it is. Haiden is supposed to be the prodigal son, America's next hero, the best rider you have ever heard of, like whatever moniker that you want to put on Haiden Deegan. That's a lot of responsibility that is going to go on somebody that we don't know what he will or will not be in 450s. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I do think that one day he will compete with Jet. I don't know when that will be. I don't know if that's going to be immediately next summer. I don't know if that's going to be 3 years from now. I don't know. But you cannot deny the raw talent that Haiden Deegan has. And I do think there's an element to how you race against Jet. I would say the best way to race against Jet is the strengths that Haiden Deegan has. And the way that I mean that is he rides, I wouldn't say aggressive, because he doesn't really like run into people and like Barsha would just take you out. Haiden Deegan is more methodical than I think a lot of people give him credit for, because the riding style that he has is always on the gas, revving it out, pinning it through corners, knifing, all that kind of stuff. So he gets kind of hit with the stigma of that he's a very aggressive rider. When you really think about it, he really isn't. He'll go for passes, he'll do everything that he needs to do in an aggressive way, sure. Like he'll go and chase leads and stuff like that. But the way that Haiden rides, and I do think there's an element to eventually Jet will get tired of Haiden Deegan off the bike. And I think eventually that will feed into it a little bit. You kind of have seen it with the Jet Lawrence. He came out last week, I want to say it was, and asked, because he was when he won the championship. Last week, somebody was saying that Hayden's coming or whatever. And Jet said, where did he finish or whatever. So he fed into it, which I thought was kind of interesting. And then yesterday, which is absolute horseshit, is somebody was flipping him off at the podium, and Jet came over and started squirting a water gun at him. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's on Instagram, all over the place. But I do think there's an element to Jet kind of feeding into this a little bit, and I really hope he does. I would love it if they were at the post-race press conference yesterday, and they were sitting next to each other. I kind of wish they kind of poked at each other a little bit, but they didn't. It is what it is. I mean, Jet is looking ahead, and I don't think he sees Deegan necessarily as a competition or as competition yet. And we'll see what happens with that. I got a little ahead of myself on the whole Jet and Deegan thing, but Deegan being able to do that, winning the championship, 2-time Pro Motocross champion, and I think he's a 5-time champion now. He has a couple SMXs, Supercross title, and 2 Pro Motos, 2 Supercross, or 2 SMX, and then 1 Supercross. So the kid is doing the damn thing. He's riding his ass off. He's, I really think, maturing a lot compared to how he used to be. And that kind of goes back to how I feel like he doesn't really ride that aggressive. And I don't think he rides over his head, stuff like that. So, I mean, you have to, anytime, and spoiler alert, if you watch this, anytime somebody wins a championship, they're going to have a good day. I try to not always go with who wins races necessarily having a good day. But when you win the championship, Joe Shimoda also had himself a damn good day. But when you have Joe that's charging and had the opportunity to still win the race, and if a catastrophic failure happened, you would have Deegan lose it and Joe could win it, right? And so Joe just pushing Haiden to the absolute extent of what I think Haiden has been pushed to in a very long time. And I mean, you could even see it where Haiden says when he feels very confident, he becomes humble Deegs. And when he's maybe like not worried, he didn't say worried, but when maybe he has something kind of going on, he'll kind of do those mental games a little bit. So keep that in mind next time when you start seeing Haiden do that stuff. I think that's him saying, all right, I got to kind of kick it up a little bit. And I wouldn't say worried about competition, but like he's noticed them. So he's going to try and mess with them a little bit. And Joe is one of those guys where I don't know what it is, but mentally that dude just does not care at all. And I think that's the best thing in the world, but he's not going to be moving up. I was told yesterday that Joe does have his Honda deal now signed for next year. It's a 1-year deal. Whether that actually happens or not, I don't know. The guy that told me, I very much know and trust close to the team. So I feel like he would have that info. So look for Joe to, I guess, make that public, maybe closer to SMX. And I do know he is running a 450 at Motocross of Nations, which that's going to be interesting. I am curious to see how that goes. But that was pretty cool, and I like that. I do like some of these 250 guys that ride for different countries bumping up to a 450. I think that's kind of cool. So, yeah, so you have to say Haiden had a great day. Championship winner. Congratulations, Haiden. Absolute amazing ride. It was really cool to see. And I know a few of those guys in that camp and Duff, like, dude, that guy's put in a lot of work. And for him to do what that whole team's been able to do with everything that comes along with Deegan is really impressive. So you have to give it up to him. Haiden Deegan, great day, good day, whatever you want to call it. But it was rad to see. It was a good day of racing, and everybody was feeling it. I think the fans also had a good day yesterday. Side note, people were feeling the track, and normally it's like last race of the year, people are like flowing more, people are throwing whips, like Haiden did a knack. Like, I mean, you could see people were throwing more style and kind of riding a little bit more fun and free. So I thought that was kind of cool. And it's interesting to see. Ethan, my buddy Ethan, said that it was also like that at Ironman last year, but I don't remember that. So I thought it was interesting though. Now, who had a bad day? A couple guys had a bad day in the sense of you had crashes. Like Juju had a really bad crash that wasn't really his fault, but hit his head, and that kind of took him out a little bit. I don't really know how severely hurt he is, but I know he had kind of a brain thing that was kind of not a brain thing, but his head was kind of messed up. He's had concussions, as a lot of dirt bike riders do. That sucked. That was a bad day. I mean, the dude actually was starting to kind of come around a little bit, and I think that it just kind of knocked him down a peg, which sucks. And so hopefully he's okay for SMX and stuff like that, because you don't really ever want to miss out on that. Hammaker did not have a good day. I think he had, a chain or something like that kind of went out on him in the moto. I can't remember. I think it might have been the first moto. And that I actually picked him to podium, and he did not do that. He went the complete opposite way. And I still will say this, just like Kitchen, I had way too high of hopes for Hammaker. I don't really know exactly what happened, but I feel like that he should have been a top 5 guy week in and week out. And he just hasn't been that. Marchbanks too didn't really have the best day in the entire world, but he didn't have a terrible day, because when you finish 4th overall, it's like, all right. But Marchbanks has been that guy that consistently has been a podium guy and also a winner, right? Like, so you would think, hey, this guy has a chance to win, and with an 8th and a 4th, like, not the best day, right? Cole Davies got his first win, but then also went 17th. So, like, is that a good day? Would you think Cole Davies had a good day going 117? I know that the first was kind of gifted to him because of the penalty, but, I mean, in the stats, it's a win. Doesn't matter how you get it. And I'm trying to think who else. Oh, I don't know how I left this one out. Tom Vialle. I don't know what's going on with Tom Vialle. The dude, here's what I don't like about Vialle, okay? He came out and said, or he's been racing pretty damn good. The guy got back-to-back hole shots yesterday when they red flagged it, and he's saying that he wasn't comfortable with the settings on his bike and just chose not to race the second moto. I don't get that. And I'll talk about Prado in a second, okay? But remove Prado from this equation for right now. Don't put the two together. Vialle is saying that he's not comfortable with his settings, but he has been consistently, I mean, as of late especially, riding really damn well. And for him to just kind of like wash his hands and be like, all right, I'm done. I don't want to do this. Like, I'm not going to go out there for the second moto. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I would say besides the top 2-3 guys are probably not happy with their setups, but they go out there and they ride anyways. Say what you will about Prado. I know, and I'll get to there in a second, but Prado at least goes out there and rides. Like, he didn't have to ride that second moto realistically. Like, if he wanted to, he could have said the same thing, and he didn't. But with Vialle, what I don't like is that was a straight up like, hey, I'm just not going out there. And I think there's an element to it. And here's the problem is I've asked people about what happened. Nobody really responded. We have the PR statements that KTM put out. Is you go out there and you ride and you put your body on the line. And I understand if you're not happy with your setup, you're not happy with your setup. Okay. But for you to just kind of kick your feet up and say, I'm not doing this anymore. And from what I heard, just kind of disappeared. Guy just kind of left the track and like took off. I don't really get it. I don't understand that side of it. I think that's kind of weird and interesting. But again, there's 3 sides to every story. There's side A, side B, and then the truth, right in the middle. And I don't really know what happened, but I'm not happy that Vialle just kind of bounced and said, all right, I'm good. I'm not doing this anymore. I do think there's an element to him trying to save himself and not get hurt because he's going to MXGPs and he's going to be riding Honda and like that's like his future, so he doesn't want to jeopardize it. I kind of get that, but I mean, dude, you're under contract right now, like just ride, just be on the track, right? You could slow it down. Prado does it all the time. Slow it down, not happy with it, just finish it out. All right, cool, whatever. But for you to just choose to not go back out there, I don't really like that move. So 450s, who had a good day? Obviously, Jet had a good day. Hunter had a good day. J Coop had himself a damn pretty good day. I think J Coop was pissed off that Jet put his fist up on getting the hole shot because Justin Cooper like seemed like he charged a little harder than what he normally does. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but it did seem like he did that in a weird way. But J Coop had a good day. RJ, I think RJ's been the biggest surprise for me in all of 450s. I expected him to have some flashes, but that dude week in and week out has just been great all season long. He's finished in 4th in points. I mean, he's challenged for he's been in the lead. He's done a whole bunch of stuff, which has been absolutely amazing to me. RJ has done a damn good job and somebody worthy of being, I mean, is he going to be the top KTM, Husky, whatever, that entire group, whatever the team is next year? Is he going to be the best guy? Is he going to be better than Tomac next year? I think so. I think he will be the best KTM family rider. And whatever bike and whoever ends up riding for him, which is probably Tomac, he's been better than him. And it's been great to see. I'm excited to see what RJ's been doing. Guy's a badass, a cool guy. I really enjoy everything that he does. And so to be able to see RJ do it, so that's who I'm going to stamp as having probably a very good day, RJ Hampshire. Now, who had a bad day in 450s? Jorge Prado is having a bad day, but I think he's at least trying to go out there. I mean, he could easily say that I tweaked a knee. If he really wanted to, he could say I tweaked a knee, I can't ride. I can't ride anymore. But I got to give it to him. At least he's still showing up. Is he putting in his best effort? I don't think so. And I don't blame him. And that's where the difference is for Vialle is Vialle wasn't happy with his setup, but he still did it, but he didn't go out there. Prado is not happy with his setup, but at least still going out there. So I give him a little bit credit. And I really give Prado credit if he really thinks that the bike, the Cowie, is terrible and he wants to leave and he's going to take a deal with KTM that is not nearly as much as what you probably would give an MXGP world champion. That's him betting on himself. I love that. I love that Jorge is willing to say, I know it's the bike. I'm out of here. I can go win. I can get the bonuses, whatever, right? I give it to him. That is somebody that I get that he's going to be betting the entire thing on himself. And I love that. I like Jorge. I think he's a good dude. And I want him to succeed. I've said it before. It's better when we have more guys that are competing for the lead. The other guy that didn't really have the best day again, Eli, is not. I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe it's just age. Maybe it's a setting that he doesn't like on the Yamaha, but he's been on there for so long now that I don't really understand how that could be happening. But it could be that. I mean, I don't know. It's the 450 was kind of like we closed that chapter last week, so there wasn't really too much going on in the 450s. But you guys tell me in the comments. I had it last week where people thought I was wrong about this and right about that. Sound off in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your thoughts are, and bench race with me and give me some ideas of, hey, this guy had a great race because of this. Whatever it is, go out there in the comments and let me know. But I really enjoy doing this. We'll deep dive way more on the podcast next week. We have a pretty cool guest. Next week. I don't want to tell you too much about it, but it is somebody in the podcast world, and I'll leave it at that. So, I hope you guys had a good day. I tried to get this out sooner. It was my birthday yesterday, so I didn't get it out yesterday. So, getting it out today. But hope you guys enjoyed this one. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. Tell your buddy about it. Tell your friend, tell your mom, tell your grandma, tell your kids. I know your kids have YouTube accounts. Go make them subscribe. So, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. I'll see you guys next week.